LA Knight posted a picture of himself holding a steel chair and wrote 5 words aimed at IShowSpeed. Those 5 words have set the wrestling world on fire, and the internet cannot figure out if this is the beginning of something nobody saw coming. Here's why LA Knight just sent a message to IShowSpeed. LA Knight was accidentally struck by IShowSpeed with brass knuckles during the March 30 episode of WWE Raw at Madison Square Garden. The incident occurred during a street fight for the WWE World Tag Team Championships and helped Logan Paul and Austin Theory capture the titles. Here's what happened. The title match featured a street fight between the Usos, Jimmy Uso and Jey Uso, and The Vision, the team of Logan Paul and Austin Theory. The bout quickly escalated beyond the ring, with both teams fighting through the crowd and using weapons including kendo sticks and tables as the contest intensified. This was Madison Square Garden. The crowd was packed. The stakes were the World Tag Team Championships, and everybody inside that building knew things were going to get violent. A street fight has no rules. Weapons are legal. The ringside area becomes part of the battlefield, and that is exactly what happened as bodies went flying through barricades, and steel chairs were cracking against flesh, having been told by WWE Raw General Manager Adam Pearce that he would be in the front row for the WWE Tag Team Championship match at Madison Square Garden. IShowSpeed would find himself involved in the match itself. Speed was sitting right there at ringside, front row, right next to Logan Paul's mother. He was supposed to be a spectator, just a celebrity in the crowd, watching the action unfold. That is not how the night ended. A turning point came when brass knuckles were introduced at ringside. Logan Paul was set to receive the weapon, prompting LA Knight, who was on commentary, to intervene. During the commotion, IShowSpeed, positioned in the front row, became involved despite earlier indications he would not take part in the action. See, LA Knight was not competing in this match. He was sitting at the commentary desk as a guest, calling the action, but when he saw Logan Paul's own mother pull brass knuckles from her bag and try to hand them to her son, Knight left the desk immediately. He was not about to sit there and watch the Usos lose their championships because of a foreign object passed from a mother to her son at ringside. Serving as guest commentator for the Street Fight Tag Team match, LA Knight had other ideas, disarming Paul, with IShowSpeed choosing that moment to wear the offending implement. Knight got to the brass knuckles. He took them away from Logan Paul. The threat should have been neutralized right there. But that is when everything went sideways. In the scramble, IShowSpeed took possession of the brass knuckles. He slipped them onto his hand. And then came the moment that would change the trajectory of WrestleMania season. With Knight approaching IShowSpeed from behind, the streamer would deliver a knockout blow to the WWE star, realizing what he's done and rapidly leaving the scene. LA Knight came up behind Speed, and before anyone could process what was happening, the streamer spun around and connected. Brass knuckles to the face. LA Knight went down. He was out cold. The megastar, one of the most popular wrestlers on the entire roster, was laying flat on the arena floor at Madison Square Garden because a YouTuber just punched him with a loaded fist. Paul then dragged Speed over the barricade, who picked up the brass knuckles. Knight then spun Speed around, and he hit him with the brass knuckles, knocking the megastar out cold. The clip spread like wildfire. Within hours, it racked up millions of views. Within hours, it racked up millions of views on X. It even overshadowed CM Punk powerbombing Roman Reigns through the announce table. On a night that featured some of the biggest names in professional wrestling, doing some of the most devastating things to each other. It was a 21-year-old streamer punching a professional wrestler with brass knuckles. That became the most talked about moment. IShowSpeed accidentally struck LA Knight with the brass knuckles, leaving him down and the weapon up for grabs. Logan Paul quickly capitalized, using the knuckles, before Austin Theory pinned Jimmy Uso to secure the win and capture the titles. The crowd reaction reflected the shock of the moment, as the Vision walked away with the championships heading into WrestleMania. The Usos lost their titles. The Vision became the new World Tag Team Champions, and the man who made it all possible was not even a wrestler. He was a content creator from Ohio who was supposed to be sitting in a chair watching the show. For nearly 20 hours after the incident, LA Knight said nothing. He did not post on social media, he did not cut a promo, he did not do an interview. The silence was deafening, and it made the wrestling world even more nervous about what was coming. When a man like LA Knight A man who has built his entire career on never staying quiet goes silent. It means the storm is building. Nearly 20 hours after the incident, Knight broke his silence on social media. Responding to a WWE post, he wrote a clear warning to IShowSpeed. Mistake or not, it's coming. Knight posted alongside an image of himself holding a chair. 5 words. That is all he needed. Mistake or not, it's coming. And it was not just the words. It was the image attached to those words. LA Knight, mid-swing, gripping a steel chair with both hands. The implication was crystal clear. Whether IShowSpeed meant to hit him or not, the consequence was the same. Payback was coming. LA Knight took to social media to send a warning to IShowSpeed and vowed to get revenge following the attack on Raw. He shared an image of himself swinging a steel chair. That post lit up the entire wrestling internet. Comment sections erupted. Quote tweets flew in by the thousands. People dissected the image, the caption, the tone, and the overwhelming consensus was that LA Knight was not playing a character when he posted that. The rage felt real. The promise felt real. And the steel chair in his hands told a story that words alone never could. Now, IShowSpeed did address the situation, addressing the seemingly inadvertent attack in a post on Instagram. IShowSpeed reiterated his inadvertent actions. Speed took to Instagram and claimed the whole thing was not intentional. He made it clear that he did not mean to hit LA Knight. He was startled, he reacted, and the brass knuckles were on his hand when he swung. It was reflexive. It was an accident. That was his story. But here's the thing about LA Knight's response. He did not care about the excuse. He did not differentiate between an intentional attack and a mistake. He did not say, well, if it was a mistake, we're good. No, he said, mistake or not, it's coming. That means the apology did not land. That means the explanation did not matter. That means, as far as LA Knight is concerned, IShowSpeed owes him something that words cannot repay. What WE has not officially addressed IShowSpeed's involvement. The situation appears far from resolved as tensions build on the road to WrestleMania. This is an important detail. WWE itself has not stepped in to clarify, mediate, or diffuse the situation. No official statement, no backstage segment where an authority figure sorts things out. Nothing. And in WWE, when the company stays quiet about a conflict between two people on their programming, it usually means they want that conflict to escalate. They want the tension to brew. They want the audience leaning in, wondering what happens next. Later during Monday Night Raw, Speed clarified that he did not intend to attack LA Knight. However, the Vision made it clear that they would have his back, as he had likely made his fair share of enemies. So not only has Speed accidentally made an enemy out of one of the most dangerous men in WWE, he now has Logan Paul and Austin Theory pledging their allegiance to him. The Vision, the same team that just won the tag titles because of what Speed did, essentially told the streamer that they would protect him. This is how factions form in professional wrestling. This is how wars begin. One accident, one punch, one set of brass knuckles, and suddenly the entire landscape of WrestleMania season shifts. It will be interesting to see what WWE has planned for the rivalry between Knight and IShowSpeed. Interesting is one way to put it. Volatile is another. Because LA Knight has not forgiven, has not forgotten, and has made it clear through 5 words and a steel chair that IShowSpeed's reckoning is on the way. To truly understand how IShowSpeed ended up in the middle of a WWE Championship match, swinging brass knuckles at a professional wrestler, you have to go back 1 week, because what happened at Madison Square Garden was not an isolated incident. It was the latest chapter in what has become one of the strangest and most entertaining storylines in recent WWE memory, the Danhausen curse. The situation began backstage on Raw, where IShowSpeed interacted with several WWE stars before crossing paths with Danhausen. Known for his very nice, very evil persona, Danhausen proposed a deal involving Speed's YouTube account access and shared profits, an offer the streamer refused. That refusal led to Danhausen placing a curse on him, setting up an unusual off-air race with Speed's account credentials at stake. On the March 23 episode of Raw, IShowSpeed was backstage mingling with wrestlers, soaking in the atmosphere. Being his usual chaotic self, that is when he ran into Danhausen, the face-painted, cape-wearing enigma who had recently debuted in WWE at Elimination Chamber 2026. Danhausen wanted access to Speed's YouTube channel. He wanted to share profits. He wanted to collaborate in the most Danhausen way possible. by demanding everything and offering nothing but the removal of a supernatural curse in return. Speed, naturally, said no. And that is when Danhausen cursed him. Now, cursing people is what Danhausen does. Speed is the first guest to be cursed, but there have been several cursed WWE stars since Danhausen's debut. And the list includes Chad Gable, Grayson Waller, Kit Wilson, Dominic Mysterio, and The Miz. He has cursed Chad Gable. He has cursed Grayson Waller. He has cursed Dominic Mysterio. He has cursed The Miz. But none of them experienced what IShowSpeed experienced after the curse landed. What followed added a curious twist. During a recent YouTube stream, Speed detailed a series of mishaps, including a 3-hour flight delay, issues with his costume and stream setup, and an overall rough day. At one point, he admitted he has had a bad day, later suggesting his life might be messed up, all while pointing back to Danhausen's curse. A 3-hour flight delay, problems with his streaming equipment, costume malfunctions, technical failures. Everything that could go wrong for IShowSpeed went wrong in the days following the curse. And he said it himself on his stream. His life had been a disaster since Danhausen cursed him. He was not laughing anymore. He was genuinely starting to wonder if this thing was real. 1 week after being cursed by Danhausen, IShowSpeed returned to WWE Raw, looking for the curse to be reversed. IShowSpeed spoke with Danhausen, saying his life has been a disaster. And it all started with Danhausen cursing him last Monday on Raw. Danhausen requested $1 billion, streaming rights, and a cabana boy. Speed could not give in to Danhausen's demands. The curse continues, so Speed went back to Raw the following week, the March 30th episode at Madison Square Garden, specifically to find Danhausen and get the curse removed. He begged. He pleaded. He told Danhausen that his life had been falling apart. Danhausen's response, $1 billion, streaming rights, and a cabana boy. Those were his demands. Speed could not meet them, and the curse stayed. IShowSpeed, who rejected the proposal, has been warned by Big E about his safety. Yes, gravely concerned about IShowSpeed's safety. Gravely, the curse is real. Even Big E, the former WWE champion, was publicly expressing concern for the streamer. On the Raw recap show, Big E leaned into the storyline with conviction, warning Speed to take the curse seriously, and even suggesting remedies like holy water and garlic. Whether it was tongue-in-cheek or not, the message was consistent. Something was very wrong in IShowSpeed's world. And then, hours after failing to get the curse lifted, IShowSpeed found himself in the front row of a World Tag Team Championship street fight, with brass knuckles in his hands, swinging at the wrong man. If the curse was designed to create chaos in Speed's life, it succeeded beyond anyone's imagination. Because now, on top of flight delays and tech failures, IShowSpeed has LA Knight, a 240-pound professional wrestler who fights people for a living, publicly promising retribution with a steel chair in his hands. The Danhausen curse did not just give Speed a bad week. It put him on a collision course with one of the most relentless men in WWE. To understand why LA Knight's message to IShowSpeed carries such weight, you need to understand the history between Knight and the people Speed just aligned himself with. Because this is not a new war. This is an old one, and it runs deep. Knight and Paul first crossed paths ahead of WWE Money in the Bank 2023. They didn't fully start feuding until the summer of 2024. LA Knight and Logan Paul have been at each other's throats since 2023. The rivalry simmered for months before exploding into one of the most personal feuds WWE produced in 2024. For several months, Knight has made Paul and the US title his target, leading to home invasions, brawls, and a lot of trash talking. Knight invaded Logan Paul's home. He threw a pool party at the man's house while Paul was away. He stole Logan's prime truck and drove it to SummerSlam. The disrespect was legendary, and the crowd ate every single second of it. LA Knight defeated Logan Paul to win the WWE United States Championship at WWE SummerSlam 2024. Knight rolled up in the prime truck that he stole from Paul, and he smashed the window. This marks Knight's first title win on the WWE main roster. At SummerSlam 2024, Knight walked into the arena inside Logan Paul's own truck, smashed the windshield, and then beat Paul to win the United States Championship. It was Knight's first title on the WWE main roster. The vindication was enormous. The rivalry most people assumed was over. It was not over. The megastar asserted that it would end when they end. Knight noted how he was brutally attacked by Logan Paul and Bronson Reed last winter, and that he has yet to seek his revenge. Just weeks ago, Knight addressed the long-simmering tension with The Vision in an interview. He was asked when the rivalry would conclude, and his answer was chilling. He said they had put him through a car. The main people who did that were Logan Paul and Bronson Reed. With all the licks he has gotten on Logan Paul, he hasn't gotten enough. Since Paul helped put that whole thing together, Logan Paul and Bronson Reed put Knight through a car. They tried to end his career. They tried to remove him from the equation entirely. And while Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker have since removed themselves from the Vision's equation through various circumstances, Logan Paul remains. And now, Logan Paul has tag team gold, a new championship reign, and a streamer who just knocked out his oldest rival. One of the most memorable 2026 Elimination Chamber moments was LA Knight's botch during the namesake match. But his former WWE rival, Logan Paul, is here to defend him. During an episode of Impulsive, Paul rushed to Knight's defense. This was somewhat surprising given their past feud. The dynamic between Knight and Paul is fascinating because there are moments of grudging respect. After Knight had a botch at Elimination Chamber 2026, Logan Paul actually defended him publicly on his podcast. He said the botch was not Knight's fault and that critics would never understand what it is like to perform in that environment. It was a rare olive branch from a man who once had his home invaded, but that olive branch means nothing now. Because at Madison Square Garden, Logan Paul dragged IShowSpeed over the barricade, set the chain of events in motion that led to Knight getting knocked out, and then used those same brass knuckles on Jimmy Uso to win the tag titles. Knight hasn't competed since the men's Elimination Chamber match last month. Knight has not had a proper match since the Elimination Chamber. He has been watching. He has been waiting. And now he has more reason than ever to come back swinging. The beef between Knight and Logan Paul is personal, violent, and unresolved. The addition of IShowSpeed to Logan Paul's side does not de-escalate the situation. It pours gasoline on an already raging fire. When Knight posted that picture of himself holding a steel chair, he was not just sending a message to Speed, he was sending a message to the Vision. He was sending a message to everyone who thought he would stay at that commentary desk and accept what happened to him. LA Knight does not accept things. LA Knight gets even. And now, with WrestleMania on the horizon, the path to getting even has never been clearer. The moment IShowSpeed's fist connected with LA Knight's jaw at Madison Square Garden, the wrestling world started booking WrestleMania 42 in their heads. The fans did not wait for WWE to make an announcement. They made the match themselves. After the match, fans went online and started calling for a match between LA Knight and IShowSpeed at WrestleMania 42. That accidental punch and Speed's growing role in WWE have made people think a celebrity match could be coming. Social media exploded with fantasy booking. Some fans wanted a straight-up singles match, LA Knight versus IShowSpeed on the grandest stage of them all. Others had grander visions. Some want a singles match between Knight and Speed. Others are even suggesting a six-man tag match with the Vision and Speed against the Usos and LA Knight. A few are hoping for a special stipulation match too. A six-man tag featuring the Vision, Logan Paul, Austin Theory, and IShowSpeed against LA Knight and the Usos became the most popular prediction online. The logic was sound. The Usos lost their tag titles because of Speed's interference. Knight was knocked out because of Speed's interference. They have a common enemy, and that common enemy now has two championship-holding allies backing him up, aside from his Royal Rumble debut. IShowSpeed is yet to make an in-ring return in WWE, although that may change with WrestleMania 42 fast approaching, his ongoing issues with Danhausen, and now his inadvertent attack on LA Knight. Speed has not had a proper WWE match since his in-ring debut at the 2025 Royal Rumble, but the groundwork for one has been laid meticulously. Back at WWE Royal Rumble 2025, social media influencer and streamer IShowSpeed made his in-ring debut as a surprise entrant in the men's Royal Rumble match. In this memorable appearance, Speed would get destroyed by a massive spear from Braun Breaker before being eliminated. This one match led to Speed actually training in the ring and posting a new Speed Goes Pro video where he competed in a match against Anthony Luke at the Performance Center. That Royal Rumble appearance is an important piece of context. Speed entered as a surprise replacement, got speared into oblivion by Braun Breaker, and was thrown out of the ring in under a minute. Speed quickly enjoyed some offense, even eliminating Otis with Braun Breaker. Speed then did a flip and a CU, with the crowd chanting along, before he ate a huge spear from Braun Breaker. But here is what most people do not realize. After that night, Speed did not walk away from wrestling. He leaned into it. This one match led to Speed actually training in the ring and posting a new Speed Goes Pro video where he competed in a match at the Performance Center. In the latest Speed Goes Pro video, IShowSpeed was seen training in the ring alongside current WWE star Sheamus. He went to the WWE Performance Center. He trained with Sheamus. He competed in matches against developmental talent. He posted training videos on his channel. The 21-year-old streamer was not treating this as a one-off publicity stunt. He was actively trying to become better in the ring. John Cena recently spoke highly about IShowSpeed, but noted that he should stick to streaming. Speaking on the Joe Rogan podcast, the Cenation leader praised the popular star and suggested that he should not try to be a full-time wrestler. The WWE legend said he could see his wrestling potential but claimed he should still focus on his streaming career. Even John Cena has spoken about Speed's potential on the Joe Rogan podcast. Cena praised Speed's athleticism and his ability to talk trash and back it up, while also suggesting that Speed's future is in streaming rather than full-time wrestling. But Cena's comments only added to the mystique surrounding Speed's WWE trajectory. If a 16-time world champion sees something in you, the wrestling world listens. Speed has been making more appearances in WWE recently. He has appeared during the last 2 episodes of Raw, getting cursed by Danhausen during the March 23 edition. The following week, he helped Paul and Theory win Tag Team Gold. So, it appears his role in the company is increasing with every appearance. Speed's role in WWE has grown steadily. 2 consecutive Raw appearances, the Danhausen curse storyline, the involvement in a title change, the alignment with the vision. Each appearance escalates. Each week, Speed gets pulled deeper into the world of professional wrestling, whether he wants to be or not, and that is what makes LA Knight's message so significant. It is not just a social media post, it is a line drawn in the sand. Mistake or not, it's coming. Those 5 words carry the weight of a man who has been attacked, embarrassed, and wronged. On the biggest stage of all. They carry the weight of a rivalry with Logan Paul that stretches back years. They carry the weight of a WrestleMania season that is now hurtling toward a collision that the WWE Universe is desperate to see. Nothing is confirmed yet, but what started as an accident has turned into one of the most talked about possibilities. At WrestleMania 42. As of now, nothing is officially confirmed. WWE has not announced a match. LA Knight has not formally challenged IShowSpeed. The Usos have not publicly aligned with Knight against the Vision. But the pieces are all there, scattered across the board, waiting to be assembled into what could be one of the most unique and viral WrestleMania matches in history. This could work well because LA Knight has a reason to exact vengeance. And matches like these often bring about immense viewership. A match with IShowSpeed would bring even more social media views to WWE. A match involving IShowSpeed would bring a tidal wave of social media engagement. It would bring Speed's massive audience, tens of millions of followers across platforms, directly into the WWE ecosystem during the most important weekend of the year. And for LA Knight, it represents the ultimate opportunity to settle a score on the grandest stage of them all, under the brightest lights in professional wrestling. The Danhausen curse made Speed's life miserable. The brass knuckles made it dangerous. And LA Knight's 5-word promise made it existential. Whether this ends at WrestleMania in a ring with a referee, or whether it escalates even further in the weeks to come, one thing is abundantly clear. LA Knight is coming. And IShowSpeed, mistake or not, is directly in his path. Yeah.